Good morning, everyone, and welcome to League Play number 2. My name is Wolfie, of course, joined by Yummy Cheeseman and Courier Lord, and we have arrived at the second week of League Play, guys.
Well, we're big week. We're going to have a big day, and this is the week where we finally see whether all the teams get to 3 matches and where they're going to stand.
And we have some separation because some teams had the unfortunate start of most of the Chiefs. So for them, this is their first week of League Play.
Well, especially when you want to work towards becoming a professional gamer. And of course, we do have those returning international teams sitting within League Play, of course. And if we have a quick look at the actual prize pool, it's one of the biggest ones we've had.
It's actually the biggest
Is
one.
it the biggest?
It's like double.
Just like it's the $1 million season for RLCS, it's our $50,000 season. That's double the prize of last season. It's the biggest prize pool in OCE.
And you get to double dip if you're one of the top teams as well. You get to take our huge cut of the prize pool, go out to RLCS and take a huge cut of that one too.
And it's shared all the way down. So even if you've come 8th, you get a lot of money. There's a lot of growth here for those lower teams, and a lot more potential for teams next season to have to work hard just to get into this top 8.
$1,000 is not much to sniff at, especially for 8th place, just for playing.
US.
Ooh, that's a lot of Australian dollar dues. The
It
conversion
is-
rate
it
is
is-
real bad at the moment.
It is much more than we're used to here in OCE, but we've had, the past week has been an intense series of matches. We saw an interesting upset defeat with Avant and Order, and we've also seen a couple of other close matchups, which is always good to see in competition.
It is good to see.
So we'll also have a quick look at the standings, so how the teams are stacking up right now. And for me, it's really interesting because Chiefs, of course, being dominant right up at the top. Tatum Mines are sitting just after them, as we expect them to. And then obviously down the line, we do have our other teams, Avant Gaming, Melbourne Order, Legacy, Justice, Chimpwits, and of course, Perth Ground Zero.
I mean, for me, Order is the big surprise there. After their performance going into the league play, being absolutely dominant, and then they're in a situation where they had that big loss, and even the win wasn't even convincing.
Yeah, both their series went to 5 games. They were the only team to play 10 games across last week, and it was a really rough start for them, and they've got the Chiefs this week.
Well, considering we have such strong teams in the competition, we do now have, for the first matchup of today, Avant versus Justice Esports, and in my mind, it's a little bit of kind of a slower paced gameplay. Ugh. Stuffing up my words already. Slower paced gameplay than what we're used to.
I love messing with Wolfie, but I'm not going to mess on this one. I have a really exciting match. I want to look forward to Chimpwits up against Legacy at the end of the day. A real grudge match with Delusion having been kicked from Legacy.
See, I want to watch the game before Chimpwits versus Ground Zero, because Ground Zero destroyed their way through the open qualifiers, and they didn't have the opportunity to show their stuff because they went against Chiefs last week, and then they have Tatum Mines the match before. So it'll be the first showing of what they can truly do.
Lots of exciting matches today. Even the starter, Avant versus Justice. That's a battle of who can get out of that lower place, who could potentially rise into the top 4.
And we do have, of course, that risky kind of versus stable playstyle, which I personally like. And in all honesty, I think, for me, kind of Justice seemed to be a little bit stronger in this matchup. I mean, from what we saw last week of Avant, I wasn't too impressed, I have to say. And kind of looking at it very objectively, I don't think Vive was in
But
the
they
best
beat
spot.
Order. And
Well,
Vive was bloody fantastic.
Vive
He was
got a hat
amazing.
trick.
He was their top player last week.
Vive
What-
is
what is
literally
it-
the name of my fantasy team.
What does
let's
it
agree
need
to
to do
disagree.
to impress you, Wolfie?
He has to come and chat to me is what he has to do.
He just wants more friends.
Do you know how many points? He was phenomenal. He got he got 3 goals, and he had consistent performance every game.
He was really good. Vive was impressive. And that was after, in that exact same day, at the beginning, I said, Vive's not ready. He's not ready for the top 8. He's not experienced. He proved me wrong. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he's eating his words, and we know how much Yummy likes to ego. So, the fact that he's happy to double back on this just shows how well Vive did.
Me, personally, I will stick to what I've said before. I don't think they're toxic.
Wolfie.
That's my personal opinion, and I'm going to stick with it.
Hey,
I'm
do you
going to
wanna
stick to my
cast
own
with
He
me
was
on this,
nice
son?
before he started play-by-play.
Yeah, I thought you were an unbiased caster, but unfortunately not. Justice, they are in a tough position because they almost took down Order. That would have really opened up league play for them. Now, today, against Avant, they're in a must-win situation. For both teams, if you want to get in the top 4, this is a sort of match that you've got to
And
get.
it creates an interesting situation if they do win, because then you have that triangle of death situation where one's beaten Order, Justice, and Avant.
Yeah, for me, though, I think the fact that Justice are in a do-or-die position and it's only week 2 is very scary for them, because you look at it and we still have, another 3-4 weeks left of league play, and then, of course, we do have our finals as well. All right. I'll just let you correct me the whole time. You know, I'll just let Yummy
Just talk
choose
to
that
me, I'm the
sequence.
friendly one.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you said
shoot
Vive
over.
was bad, even though he absolutely went off last week.
I'll stick to that, and I'm not going to change. I'm firmly sitting. So, if we had to take a quick prediction from you guys, what would you choose?
Ooh, this is a hard one. I think I'd probably go with Avant on this one, just because I have a lot of faith in Bango's ability to play games in the bottom four confidently and pull it away. The top four is where I get a bit skeptic about how it's going to end up, but for that, I'm going to have to go Avant.
Yeah, I've said this before, but Justice are a little bit of that. You know, we don't know which one is going to show up. We don't know if they're going to perform. They can go for some random stuff. Avant vs. Justice, last time they met was in the play-ins.
Yeah.
In the qualifying match. It went to Game 5, and Justice won with the most random goal with Yeezy hidden across and Whisk going for this doink, and it just happens to be in middle behind Steve, and he redirects it in. I think the same sort of stuff will happen. I think Justice will take this out. I think they that sort of firepower and raw RNG will get them
Well,
through.
I'm lucky that we can finally agree on something, Yummy, because I personally think that Justice Esports
I
are going to
changed
take
my
this one out
prediction,
as well.
by the way.
Did you? You only changed it because obviously I'm just trying to disagree with the desk, right?
Yeah, see, my big thing here, though, is that I think that whilst I agree that Justice does have that kind of sporadic, chaotic potential to take anyone down, I don't know if this is going to be one of their 2 wins that they're going to get this season. Because I reckon they'll take out 2 teams mysteriously. They'll be like, boom, Tainted, you're down, and then Ground Zero, you're going to lose 1 too. But I don't know if it's going to be.
See, I think Justice are the favorites, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
when looking on paper and how they came into the competition, but it is so close.
It definitely is a bit of a close matchup, and I think for me it was kind of a 3-2 scoreline is what I'm predicting here.
Yeah.
And we've said it before as well, it's that stable versus risky play style, and whether or not it can pay off will obviously only time will tell. And for me, I think that Yeezy is definitely going to have to step up from what we've seen him before. He is definitely one of the weaker players in the league play. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all.
You're savage today.
Just hates everyone. He hates Vive, he hates Yeezy.
It's Drippay or bust. That's like the new rule. Like,
That's it, mate. You know, I like Drippay, and then
become-
everyone else can just stop talking.
You become the torsos of the desk. Who do you respect from OCE? Drippay? Anyone else? No. Maybe sometimes Carby.
that's because Torso scored like 20 wall shots, was it?
Yeah. It's rough, and we'll talk
Roof
about
shots.
Torsos later, but I actually felt that Yeezy played better than people think. He's a really important part of that roster because he's the one who stays further back. And the other 2 are incredibly aggressive. Whis didn't have the best week compared to what we saw from the play-ins.
You're very hot and cold.
And that was important. We needed Whis last week to play well to be able to take down Order because they almost did.
I mean, Steve's got like the mechanical potential to do
Yeah.
whatever you need. So essentially, you can rely on him to run forward and just score against the teams that don't have incredible defense.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do think that Steve is going to have to be that player to carry the whole team. And then, you know, you said that
I
Yeezy...
don't
you
agree.
think.
You think. We don't think, because I think that
All right,
Steve
you know.
is too aggressive on the ball. He goes way too hard. He's up for everything, and that's part of his strength. It's why he's so fast, but he needs to start letting his teammates be more involved.
Yeah, and that's what forces Yeezy to be all the way back there to cover
Yeah.
up the fact that his teammate is like, whoosh.
all the way. Well, I think we've seen some interesting Yummy touches from them. We're going straight into Game 1 of the second day of league play. And now a quick shot out from Vive. Nice pass for Justice Esports. A quick shot on net. Snarf touched into Yeezy. Now off to Whis. Into center. Can anything come from it? No. Steve is now up in defense.
It's a battle of the bottom placing teams right now. Can Avant Gaming climb to the top after being in group stages, or will it be Justice taking it to the top teams? It's Snarf opening up the match.
What a boomer of a shot from Snarf. They tells everyone that it is an early morning, an early shot to boot.
Snarf, the consistency from this player from years of play. He's retired 5,000 times, but he's come back, and that is a great start now for Avant Gaming.
30 seconds into this match, and Justice Esports are already on the back foot. Now Vive, kicked away into Justice Esports, past to center. A good 1-2 from Steve and Yeezy. We do like to see that. Now Snarf has control. Touched away by Justice. Steve again, he has the solo play. Bango giving him a bit of room. What is going on from Bango?
It's a disaster. He's just let that one fall over his head. He wasn't expecting the 50. You have to expect... Okay, maybe he was expecting the 50. I have no explanation for that. I don't even think Bango can tell you what happened there.
Wow. is all I can say right now. Bango attempts to reconcile his mistake there. Now Snarf off to the side. A quick shot on net. Something could come of it. Forces Yeezy for the block. Now a touch away. Avant Gaming stepped all the way into their half. Snarf needs to clear it out. Wiss has an open net. It's sitting there. It's off the corner, but he backflips into it.
Good finish by Wiss. The read off the corner was so crucial. He gets this around Snarf as far left as possible. And it bounces back, but everyone there on Justice Esports were waiting in the wings, waiting for that bounce.
You could see how prepared they were, and it is very good to see in this style of matchup because they were 1-0 down 30 seconds in, and now another 45 seconds has passed and 2 goals are already scored.
It's the kind of thing Justice can always do, just score incredibly quickly, bring back any match. And now Avant Gaming, after that big mistake, are going to be feeling crushed.
Steve has a bit of an air dribble, goes for a reset touch. Now Wiss challenging midair. Bango touching it away. Yeezy, good position from him. Steve cleared away Yeezy. Ball control needs to be engaged. Now Snarf touched again. Wiss, he is ready on the sidelines. He goes for a shot. It's on net. It's off the post again.
Every time he's going for those angles that are so close and just getting it too wide.
He goes for the challenge. Now Steve, he has control again off the top side. The post is not Justice Esports' friend right now.
Justice Esports have got so many opportunities. They've put on so much pressure. Even now, Snarf, the only man remaining with boost, and you can see how that affects them. 5 and Bango had to back off.
Yeezy sitting on the side. Snarf getting beaten out by the defender. Yeezy has ball control. It is just Bango if the same mistake happens as before, but no, he reconciles it.
Yeezy taking that one really patient and slow as well. Knowing he had no one to pass with, just goes to the flicks, and it set up this short pressure play from Justice.
Now Avant have a bit of room. Snarf gets challenged away by Yeezy. Bango to Snarf. It's doinked up. This could be the chance for Avant Gaming, but it is blocked off to the side by Justice.
The biggest issue with Yeezy right now is he's going so far back. You saw that they had so much time on that play, and Yeezy was the one who should have pressured it.
We see the foundations of good play being made from Avant. They did that nice 1-2 off the backboard there, but couldn't quite get the finish.
They know how to pass, but they're not hitting the mark.
Yeah, again, look, we see the clear pass over to Snarf, but nothing comes of it, and Justice Esports gets a quick clear, and now it touched away to Steve. This is a 3-man play from Justice. They are on the front foot. Here we go, Steve into center, but Snarf gets a clear. It's off to Vive, but look, the defender's just too fast. Now Yeezy, sitting on the sidelines. Vive tried to get to that one, a little bit awkward from him. Snarf, touched away. Now Steve, can he go for the solo play? Off the roof into center. Bango was sitting and waiting. Now West with the challenge, it's an open net. Justice Esports 3-1 up.
Another challenge from Justice Esports, another goal coming out from a 50-50. You can always expect West to be aggressive in that place. He was third man, and he still makes that challenge.
That's a really good play from him, having the skill to recognize that there was the space.
It was just a risk. It's the kind of plays that they make. That's why they can come back. They're 3-1 up now, and there's only 1 minute remaining.
Do remember, though, it is game 1, so anything can come from game 2, 3, 4, and possibly even 5.
Oh, Snarf.
So close. Not what you want from Snarf, but I've actually got demoed. Now, Justice Esports, look at how close and cluttered they are in offense here. It's an open net. Vive gets the clear. That's a goal. 2-3 to Justice.
Right thought, wrong execution. They committed so hard, and Steve should not be missing that. Highly mechanical, and Vive punishes instantly.
Avant Gaming are very much in this game. 1 minute left on the clock. Whether or not they can equalize the score and make sure that this game is theirs is still to be seen. Vive, good control from him. Bango, touched away. Snarf is so close. He goes for the boost steal, actually. Whether or not he can demo it, person in net, he does. Look at the passing play from center.
That was the first pass that they hit on the mark, right on the nose of Bango. And the demo is opening up that net. This is starting to look more like the creative Avant that we saw beating Order last week.
Avant Gaming have equalized, and that was only a 14-second play. Now if Avant Gaming can continue the strength of this last half, with 43 seconds, both of these teams looking for that last goal, looking for those opportunities, making sure that they can get there. Vive, now touched away. Snarf. Good idea from him. Bango has to clear this ball. He can't. It's sitting in the center. Vive off to the side. Steve goes for the touch. Vive pushed away. No, it's sitting up in net. Whis, can he get the dunk? He does. What a shot.
That is Wiss's bread and butter all the way up. Finds the angle down. He actually took it lower than he really needed to, but the power is enough to beat out Snarf, and that is leaving Avant with only 20 seconds to equalize.
Avant caught with their pants down. 1 goal up for Justice. Can they take game 1 with 17 seconds? A quick kickoff goal might happen here. Steve with the follow-up. The offensive pressure from Justice Esports is raining on Avant Gaming. But now Bango, Snarf into center. Steve needs to clear this one out for his team, but no, it's a pass into center. He's up, ready for the challenge from Vive. Now it just sits in net. Justice Esports take game 1.
Avant held on right at the end there, but they couldn't capitalize on the counterattack. Justice Esports, they're starting to show their mettle. They made the comeback early on in that game and still had to fight off Avant.
10 shots from Whis. That is an insane number. I think that's probably the highest that we've seen from any individual player, at least in this league play.
Yeah, definitely this season.
It's definitely great to see from him. I think...
From who?
From... I'm not going to say it.
From Whis.
From
Nice.
Whis is the individual player. Yummy, what do you think could change in this matchup?
To me, that Avant that we saw in the second half, that was so important. Because that was how they were doing well against Order. They were playing consistent, they were spread out, and they were hitting those passes. The first half of that match, let's not even talk about Bango's
Defensive error.
Defensive
Misplay.
fumble. Brain fart. Yeah, that was a rough one. But the rest of the match, when they started, well, they were passing a lot, but when they started actually hitting exactly in front of their teammates, that's when we saw some real potential.
From both of these teams, we've seen the foundations of the good play. We've seen those passes in the midfield happen, but it's about that finishing execution. We saw some good play from Avant. They got those shots, made it bounce straight off the backboard, but then 2 players went up and it was kind of just a bit of, hit and miss, essentially.
Yeah, and you can kind of see the difference between the two styles, because Justice are playing really close to each other. They're getting these short passes and they're hitting them well, but because they're so close, they don't have time to get that on net. And then on Avant, they're so spread out, but they're not quite executing on those passes. And in the end, if Justice start hitting the ball, like, that will take that risk as third man to go, no matter what. If they are just smashing that ball every time, if they're playing really clean, they should be able to take out the series.
Well, speaking of playing clean, I think Bango can definitely, if he is able to fix up those defensive errors, they'll be able to clear it out. Well, it was 1, but still it was 1 goal. And the difference in this game was 1 goal.
It was a really important one. They should have been in overtime, but you don't want to see any more of those from Bango, and I don't think we will. It was a bit of a warm-up one.
Now game 2 kicks off. Bango goes out with a bang. 5 seconds in, and now Snarf. A quick shot on net, but Steve is ready to receive. Whis cleared away. Bango touch again, but Steve so aggressive. That's a free shot on net. Snarf is fast enough in defense. Whis rotating out, making sure his teammates can get there. Look at the individual play from Steve. He goes for the solo air dribble. He might do this. Yeetsy's waiting in the back line. What a goal from Justice Esports.
Brilliant setup by Steve. The air dribble, the ground dribble as well, takes out all 3 players in the end. Bango needed to get that clear away, and Justice Esports take the lead.
I love the patience from Steve there, recognizing he had the time, took the chance, and made the shot. An opportunity happened, allowing Yeetsy to catalyze and finish it off.
And most importantly, they've got the change-up. They've got these passes happening, but they've also got some dribbles. They're really testing Avant's gaming ability to predict what's going to happen.
Vive is now demoed. Justice Esports with a clear shot. Steve makes it 2-0 with 40 seconds down.
Seems to be crumbling right here. That is not the touch from Snarf. You can't be hitting it against the wall. And whether that bump came through or not, it was probably going to be a goal.
Whis with 10 shots from last game. Now he's getting all up in Avant Gaming's business, playing phenomenally in this series. Justice Esports working so well right now. Avant seeming definitely shaken from the Game 1 loss.
Already, Whis is stepping up from last week. We said he needed to be the difference maker. He is, and can Vive bring back that last week performance? We need him right now for Avant Gaming.
Whis with a quick touch off. Steve waiting Waiting in the back lines. Bango touched away. It is down in the center for Justice. Yeetsy's waiting for this opportunity. Vive touched away, but look, there's no one from Justice to finish that play off.
And Avant Gaming, they committed 2 for that. They're not really knowing what each other are doing. There's no synergy there in defense. They will get punished if they keep doing it.
I'm lucky I'm not eating my words from before. Justice Esports playing so well right now. Yeetsy and a touch off Bango into Avant's half. Vive was not exactly ready for that one, but he gets a good touch. Snarf can get a nice clear, but no one is ready to receive from him. Yeetsy touched back to Steve. Snarf's a little bit too fast. Look at the bump attempt in net from Avant Gaming. They're trying to switch it up. They're trying to change what they're doing in offense in order to make those aggressive
But
opportunities.
even now, Avant Gaming don't have anyone really committed to the attack. Just sort of rolling around that opposition net, not setting up anything in their offensive half.
Yeetsy now cleared away a good pass. Wiz was waiting in the front lines, touched away. Bango, no one exactly there from Justice. Not as aggressive. They seem to be staying a little bit further back, recognizing they have a bit of space and obviously the score line in order to do so.
Very handy for them, and it has cut off their passes, which is unfortunate, but they don't need to score goals. And I think looking at last game where they let Avant Gaming come back with 2 goals, they don't want to do that as a repeat.
Now Avant Gaming have the offensive pressure. Vive was ready, but Yeetsy was too fast in defense. Snarf recognized he needed to go back. Good position from him. Steve with a nice EU clear off the wall. Yeetsy in the center again. Look at how fast Justice or Esports are going. They're so fast. 1-1-1. Keep going up. Keeping the aggressive pressure. This is a shot on net. Steve takes it to 3-0.
He's ready and waiting like Jaws circling the net. And he saw that this pass was happening. And I'll give it to Yeetsy right there. The pressure that he put on, the risk that Justice Esports have been taking with all of these challenges, now put Avant Gaming so much on edge. The Vive is like, I gotta hit this away, and it goes straight to the waiting Steve.
You can see they've been doing some good practice because it's not 2 outstanding players. They're working well as a cohesive unit. Justice Esports with a 3-0 lead with only 2 minutes left in this match. Vive gets a free shot though, and Avant Gaming a 1-goal
That's
back.
what we need from Vive. He played nice and fast, good and confident, and he gets it past Yeetsy, who was incredibly slow, did not see that Vive was up there, took way too much time to go up.
Avant Gaming definitely on the back foot, but they're not down and out. That only took 10 seconds, that goal there.
And we saw this comeback last game too.
We've seen Avant Gaming do miracles against Order. Whether or not they can pull a miracle against Justice in this individual match here. Wiss with ball control now. Gets a good air dribble off the roof. He can go for it. Yeetsy's right under him. And Steve is ready to receive in defense. No boost, but still goes for the ball. The challenge is good. Justice Esports still layering on the pressure.
They've been just hammering it, and that's what you need to do when you're ahead. I don't like the defensive play. Steve is up. He's going to go for the double. Can he get it? It goes down. That was such a close opportunity.
Look at how aggressive Justice Esports are going. Yeetsy now centered to Wiss. Avant Gaming, there's always kind of 2 in the back lines, but they're not exactly ready for those double touches or those intense mechanical
But
plays.
despite how aggressive they're being, they're only ever committing 1 person to the attack. They're not really worried about scoring a goal. They're just putting Avant Gaming in difficult positions.
Well, you don't need to win by more than 1 goal, and I think Justice Esports have recognized that. Yeetsy now has control again off the sidelines. A pass into center. Fast play from Justice, but a good defensive side from Avant. Ooh, Bango moved a little bit too far forward. A good touch from him. Kind of in the right place at the right time there.
Yeah, he just landed right in front of it, and he almost made it work, but there was no one to follow up his touch.
Bango with a good clear. Avant Gaming, 2 goals have to happen or they're going to be 2-0 down in a best-of-5 series. There is still a chance for a comeback in the later games, but I think that this game is all but wrapped up.
It should be over. 18 seconds left, and the way that Justice Esports have controlled this last half, they should be able to take it. And speaking of Justice Esports, they definitely cleaned up. We weren't seeing the misses when they were taking those big risky aerials. And that has turned this series into one that's more convincing for Justice Esports.
I honestly thought it was going to be a bit closer in the individual games itself. I mean, we saw the first game be very nice and close. It almost went to overtime itself. And for me, I think Justice Esports are playing how I would prefer them to play, where they're playing consistent against a team like Avant.
I think Justice Esports are showing what they're made of. Their pace is is just above Avant Gaming right now, and Avant don't know how to deal with it. They're getting into that situation that we've seen from teams versing the Chiefs, right, where they're like, God, we have to hit the ball, and all of a sudden they're losing that ability to find each other, to make that really nice touch that's going to make a lot of effect.
Because it's not about formulating the play, it's more about, we've got to stop them from making a play.
Yeah,
So they're playing, instead of playing to win, they're playing to not lose. And that is not what you want to be playing up against the strongest team in the region, arguably, easily.
It's hard when you've got all these nerves and you're in this big situation and you're playing in a losing situation where you need to get goals. It's the same reason that people, when they're down like this, they take shots on net when realistically they'll score more goals if they can pass.
Speaking of those kind of shots on net, I've seen Snarf do quite a few of these games, and I've seen him, there could be an opportunity for a pass, but instead he kind of just takes a bit of a free shot to net and goes, I'll just do that to like make a bit of pressure, and Justice Esports seem to be working well against it.
I think the difference as well right now is trust. Avant Gaming's playstyle that we saw last week that was really good, that had those passes, even in game one, really relies on them trusting each other. And it's coming out from Justice Esports. They're finding the backup. They're knowing that their teammate's going to go. But Avant Gaming, they need to bring this back together as a team.
Justice Esports 2-0 up in the series. Avant Gaming, last leg is here. 10 seconds in, and Whis is ready and waiting. Goes for the roof shot. This could happen. A nice touch, but Bango ready to receive. Good touch from Steve. Cleared away by Avant. A quick turn from Yeezy could turn this opportunity in Justice Esports' favor. It does not. Now Bango needs to do something. Snarf being aggressive in net, but his team isn't exactly making the use of it.
They were trying to get a handle of that ball and be able to take the shot. Weren't willing to make it until Snarf got the bump. Didn't quite work out. It is an open net, and Whis is capitalizing. Whis just going off this series.
What a quick dunk from Whis. Justice Esports as aggressive as ever. Whis had so much time to make that shot happen, and he did.
And it's a shame for Vive. He tried to make the prediction on the right-hand side of the net. It goes past him, and we've seen that time and time again from Whis. He's always aiming at the part of the net that's hardest to save from.
You can see the frustration from Avant Gaming. A little bit flustered. Bango and Snarf.
That's the trust right there. Snarf needs to let Vive hit that.
Whis now full ball control. Goes for a nice little flick play, but Bango has cleaned up his defense. Justice Esports. That was an opportunity for Bango. Bit of an open net there.
That was unfortunate, and they're going to have to bring that one back. Justice Esports right now. We have to talk about the 15-year-old Whis here in his first season that he is capable of and just showing up big.
Now Yeezy ready to receive that ball. Almost a bit of an awkward goal for Avant Gaming, and I think they did kind of want that one just to nicely roll in. Justice Esports luckily had the nice rotations to get to that one. Now Vive can't touch it off, unfortunately, but he does have a bit of space with that demo coming out on Steve. Gives them that little moment of respite, which I think Avant Gaming need.
Not much respite as there are multiple members from Justice Esports. Look how close they are to the net, being able to take shot after shot. Even still, Steve is in there, his two teammates backing him up, and they will have another opportunity.
A nice fake challenge from Yeezy. Good little play from Justice Esports, 2 minutes down, and all the pressure seems to be from Justice. Avant Gaming need to make a retaliation goal or make advantage of the aggressive playstyle. Snarf touch to the side. Bango. Bit of space. Good touch from him. Vive. Touched away again. Now Steve has ball control. A good pass to Yeezy. This could happen. This could be the opportunity to make it 2-0 for Justice. No, it's not. A clear from Snarf. Now Avant Gaming have it.
I really liked what Yeezy tried to do there. He went for the double touch. He knew that there were two members in defense and that he had to do something special. Now it's been turned around. Avant Gaming get the opportunity. But look, they stacked the left-hand side. No one on that right-hand side, and they get a free clear.
Oh no, Justice Esports. Now Yeezy on the back line. Snarf has a bit of time, goes for the solo pass. This is what he needs. This is what they need. Now Bango can dunk it in.
Boom.
Top bins and in.
Bango! That is an absolute smashing shot. Just fires this one into the net over the top of Yeezy, and it was bar down.
Avant Gaming. Those are the plays that we want them to make. Evening up the scoreline. If they can do something similar to that again, they could run away with this game.
And what was beautiful is it took all three members. They backed each other up, and it worked out. They need to do more of that.
See this adjustment mid-game. Always good to see. Vive touched away. Steve cleared into center. Whis again off the side. The 15-year-old hero.
It was not quite the touch he wanted. He wanted that to hit the corner and come back out.
Now Whis on defense again. And look at the setup from Steve. He was on the sideline waiting for that pass. But now Avant Gaming are trying to make opportunity of this. Vive, full control. Whis a little bit too far to challenge. But he does and gets a good touch. Now Steve cleared away off to the side. Look at the pressure play from him. This is happening from Justice Esports. It's a bit of an open net. Is anyone there? No. There's no one for the follow-up from Justice.
Snarf took a really risky 50 at that start. He went really high for the challenge. It's going to be giving so many more opportunities for Justice Esports because they still haven't recovered from his loss of boost.
Snarf, ball control. Touched away. Whis. Good pass into center. Steve doesn't have enough boost. Avant Gaming. Oh, it's off the top crossbar. That was an open net for Avant.
Devastating. Vive just went high and he had the open net. He didn't need to get the perfect shot.
Vive, as aggressive as ever. Bango to Vive. It's an open net. They make use of it. Avant Gaming.
That angle from Vive just coming out, and he is starting to find his form again. That corner angle, the pass was beautiful. Now we just need to see Snarf really work in with those two.
Avant Gaming have cleaned up their play. Justice Esports not the best on defense at the moment. Avant Gaming are definitely a little bit happy, but they are not out of the woods yet. It is 40 seconds to go, and Justice Esports have the advantage here. A retaliation goal could happen, clear it into the net, but look at the fast play from Yeezy.
They committed so hard to that. They actually committed 3 members, and Yeezy just gets back in time.
Bango and Snarf ready and waiting, backing up each other. Always nice to see. Vive touched away to the side. There's ball control again. But Whis is so far back, but it works out. Now Snarf challenged in midair. Now Vive, again to center. Yeezy has a boomer of a clear. This could be the backboard play that Justice Esports need, but Bango clears it away. Snarf again to follow up. Can he keep it going?
This is the attack for Justice. They've got 5 seconds to execute. Steve again to the side. He hasn't been having the best touches this game. It will hit the ground. Avant Gaming starting the reverse sweep.
Avant Gaming playing so well. Those 2 goals that we saw were those clean plays that we haven't seen them do at all this series, and it's nice to see them being able to do it now.
We saw a couple in game 1, but this is finally starting to bring some trust out. Finally finding each other. 8 shots between them, none from Snarf. I think for him, he needs to start letting his teammates do a little bit more. He doesn't need to get too involved because Bango and Vive are showing that they can work really well together.
Yeah, we saw Snarf seem a little bit, not hesitant, but he gets...
Opposite of. He just gets involved when he really shouldn't.
Yeah, so I was going to say, because he was kind of double committing when another one of his players has a bit of a better touch and he's going, oh, this should be mine, and not exactly trusting his teammates, which isn't what you do in this sort of a series when your back's against the wall.
He's been doing that since the play-ins as well. I think that is the biggest spot for Avant to improve. They have the chance to take this one out now. And Justice Esports, we're kind of seeing why we can say that they go one way or the other. They can win any series or lose any series. That game was a perfect example because you just see them commit so hard to attack. You see 3 members go, and then all of a sudden it's up to the first person who went to just book it back. And if they can get back in time, they're fine, but they're still facing backwards in defense.
For me, Justice Esports, their offense is a bit sporadic, and that's okay against a team like Avant. It's okay to be sporadic, but you need to clean up that defense because that's what's letting them go right now. And heading into this game here, Avant Gaming with a 1-game deficit right now. Snarf trying to make it a 0-game deficit, but Steve lead away to the side. Vive, nice pinch from him. Touched away to the side, but Yeetsy's there. Can the double touch happen? No. Bango is there, ready and waiting. Steve, nice and aggressive. It's an open net. Vive, look at the positioning from him.
He was just holding behind that ball. I think it was pretty smart to stay and wait for that 50-50. It's now the chance for Justice Esports to get this goal, but look at them committing so hard. Steve is just starting to just go ham, but it's not working out for Justice Esports.
Whis cleared away. Snarf is there with a free shot. Now Steve, none of his teammates are in front of him. Whis, if he could pass the center, Yeezy could make something happen here. He does. What a boomer! Yeezy, Justice Esports 1-0.
Beautiful pass and a beautiful finish, and none of the Avant Gaming team could get there It was Snarf going past it, trying to beat Yeezy to the ball. And I can kind of understand that. He was seeing an open net at the other end. He's like, I can shoot this. But unfortunately misses completely.
Well, we spoke about that risky gameplay, and we saw Steve was still in front. So that was the last line. If Snarf could just get a clear away, it would have actually been a reverse goal for Avant.
That is where the 50-50 comes into play. When it's Justice Esports involved, that 50-50 is the difference between a goal, one end or the other, not just the possession.
A Bango, full control, but not enough boost. No, he was actually backwards. Went for a little play. Avant Gaming could happen here. It's centered. Oh, what a nice play from the backboard for Avant.
It seems the redirects, those backboards, those up-high plays in defense, that's Justice Esports' weakness. That is where Avant Gaming can capitalize.
And now Yeezy almost had a free touch in net. That was a really nice challenge. Now Snarf tried to go for the solo play himself. Whis, the 15-year-old wonder kid, can't do much here. The double commit again from Justice Esports. The do or die mentality still never changing. Now Whis has nice control. This could be the opportunity that they needed, sitting right in front of net.
By Whis off the backboard, the finesse, just landing behind it, getting it down. It could have bounced all the way back. It lands perfectly for Yeezy. That kid is a monster.
That kid is a monster. Justice Esports 2-0 with 2 minutes down. This is what we wanted to see from them last game. And now Yeezy touch to Whis. Oh, another goal could have happened right there.
That's a beautiful moment from Yeezy as well. Finding that pass, delicate touch downwards. Justice Esports showing their creativity here on the pitch in Game 4.
This is what I like to see from Justice Esports. Yeezy now has the ball control. 5, touched away, a free shot on net, a double commit again from Avant Gaming. Snarf not trusting Bango to get that clear.
Even then you saw Whis really wanting to go in on that. Even though it was so close to Avant's net, they could have committed as third.
Yeezy touched away with a good challenge. Now Whis with a free shot on net from... Now Bango. Steve with a good challenge. Yeezy. Nice little play, wanting to make sure that they can do something here. Setting up the play, Whis with a bit of a fast ball. Not what he wanted. Wanted to do a nice little touch off to Steve.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of the wrong angle. Too close to the net. Bango, he gets the pass. 5 goes high. Can Snarf finish? It's Whis to save. He's found that defensive side as well.
That is heartbreaking to see. The setup, the play, the beat out of 2 defenders, and nothing comes of it. Avant Gaming get the 90%, but can't get the last 10. Now Vive. Push off. The backboard plays from Justice. This is what is working against Avant. The pass to center. Steve's a little bit too slow there. Whis now has a bit of time for a clear. He does. Now 5. Touched away, but Bango is ready. And a good play from them. Steve touched off into center. That's Snarf. Now Whis. Touched again by Yeezy. Justice Esports are on the front foot again. It's sitting in front of net, but it just passes over. 2-0 up with, again, just a minute remaining. Justice Esports must be saying, we got this.
They love this position. This is where we saw them 2 games ago, where they're like, we'll just send one person forward. Whis and Steve, they're staying back. They're happy. They're parking the bus here, and Justice Esports, they are going to hold on to this lead.
Well, if you win a race by an inch or a mile, it doesn't matter. It's all about getting that W. Whis touched again, trying to beat out Bango there, but he had enough boost to smash it out. 5. Look at how close Yeezy got there. He tried to stay still as aggressive as ever, and it seems to be working for Justice Esports.
Allows him to back off and get back to help out Whis in defense. Justice Esports, they're holding on with 40 seconds left. They're keeping their top 4 dreams alive at Avant Gaming. They are now looking in dire straits.
Already week 2, and they must be getting a bit nervous, but still, there is 23 seconds left. In my mind, this is Justice Esports' match and the series for them. Now Yeezy has control. Snarf touched off to the side. A quick shot from Steve, though. Look at how aggressive they're still going with only 10 seconds remaining. Bango has to do something, but Justice Esports have taken this game out. The best of 5 series goes to Justice, and a fantastic showing from the side of the Young Guns.
It's a brilliant comeback from Justice Esports. They went down right at the start of the series, and now they are putting their stamp on this competition. They went close to order. They took down Avant Gaming. Can they climb even further?
That is still to be seen, but kicking off league play week 2 with a bang. Courier, for me, that was very interesting seeing from Justice Esports.
I love the way they played. That was a huge step up in my eyes. I mean, I went for Avant, but I can say when I'm wrong, and they did an absolutely great job. I love how Weezy played.
Weezy.
That's the new Wombo combo.
Weezy, yeah.
You know, they had some great passes between the two, especially in that final game, those 2 goals where they were working together really, really well. And that's what I don't expect from Justice. I didn't expect the team play to be so finessed.
And I was worried about Steve. I mean, Jake has definitely called him the carry multiple times now. I've disagreed with him multiple times now, and he did have a rough match because he was trying to be that carry. I think he just needs to let his team have a little bit more because he was the one double committing. He's the one that I think if he steps back a little bit, Justice Esports will potentially be really rising fast.
Yeah, because they've had growth in his shadow, and now they've hit the point where it's a lot more even. And then on the flip side, there's some interesting stuff coming out from Avant. I loved when they used the demo or the bumps to open up the net. Sometimes Snarf was a bit too eager when the play was nowhere near the net yet, and he kind of pushed himself entirely out and then lost possession in the midfield, which is a bit strange.
For me, it's so heartbreaking to see, though, because you see Avant Gaming, when they made those 2 goals in the game that they actually won, they were very clean, very nice, precise plays. But then a lot of the other time, it was just very sporadic, very like a lot of double commits coming out. Not what you really want to be seeing from, I mean, when you want to make it to
I
top
think
4.
we saw the best Avant in game 1 in the second half where they were starting to clean out. They were getting those passes.
Yeah.
They were finding each other. They took back the game and couldn't finish it out. But we never really saw that until just like the final moments of game 3.
Yeah, I'd say every match they had like 1/3 perfect and the other 2/3 were shaky.
Yeah.
Because like game 2, they consistently got first to the ball and they consistently won the challenges, but they were incredibly timid. So as soon as they won it, they'd get the ball to the other side. They're just like, cool, it's yours now.
Yeah.
And they just backed off. And it's like, wow, that was your opportunity to push forward. You could have had pressure. You could have scored.
That's why
there was a lot from Justice as well. They were playing so fast at certain points where they just got up to the ball quickly to even the point where Ivana got to be like, oh, okay, like, do we go for this or are we going to get beaten? It's really hard to commit to something that you think that you might get beaten to.
On Justice's defense, though, a lot of those times they were already ahead. So the fact they took the brakes off, at least they're sitting on a lead. Where Avant was like, we're down like on no goals, but we're also not trying to score.
Yeah. For me, an interesting showing from both teams, but we're going to take a quick break now and we'll be right back with some more League Play number 2.